Nobody wants to be the person who greenlights an agent that fails in front of customers. Here's how you make sure that doesn't happen. ContextQA is a validation layer for AI agents. It generates real-world test scenarios, runs them against your agent, and shows you exactly where it breaks. No SDK, no instrumentation, just confidence before you go live. Welcome to the ContextQA AI agent testing platform. Here's the dashboard you'll see after logging in. First, you need to connect your agent. ContextQA works with platforms like Agentforce, Amazon Connect, AWS Bedrock, AWS Agent Core, and more. For voice agents, connect through Amazon Connect, a phone number, or Snowflake Cortex agent. If you're using LangChain, LangGraph, a custom harness, or the OpenAI Agents SDK, connect them directly with a custom HTTP endpoint, headers, and body. Let's connect an AWS Bedrock agent. You just enter the access key, secret key, agent ID, and alias ID. The session token is optional. Here's an agent called Nimbus. Already connected. It runs on Bedrock and handles e-commerce tasks like order returns, exchanges, review management, and account updates. Now, go to the project section and create a project. Let's call it Nimbus Test Project. Since this agent is text-based, select text as the modality and create it. You can start with the wizard by uploading a document that describes your agent, or build everything step by step. Behaviors, use cases, personas, evaluation, and test cases. Here's a document already prepared for this demo. It covers the Nimbus support agent's overview, purpose, end users, persona, escalation process, company info, what the agent should always or never do, and how it should handle specific situations. For example, it should refuse returns outside the 30-day window or for undelivered orders. You'll also see all the tools the agent can access: orders, returns, products, customer management, support tickets, and escalations. The test case generation engine uses these to generate test cases. For example, it might create a scenario where the agent looks up an order, starts a return, lists new products, and submits a review, all in one test case. There's also info about the agent's knowledge base. If you connect your knowledge base, Pinecone, Bedrock, Azure, or others, the engine will use it to create relevant test cases. Then there's mock data: users, orders, products, and tickets from the staging environment. The engine uses this data to build test cases. For example, Alex ordered running shoes and a yoga mat, wants to return or exchange them, and maybe escalate for a refund. You'll also find example conversations, test scenarios, happy paths, error cases, edge cases, and context switches. Once you're ready, upload the doc and click Continue. The system generates customer personas. These describe who will be using the agent. You can provide your own authentication endpoint and user credentials, so the system uses real users. If not, the platform generates generic personas, like an impatient VIP, a tech challenge senior, a bargain hunter, or a mobile texter. You can add more personas or just continue. Next, the system proposes use cases, the main buckets for your tests. Examples include return initiation, order status tracking, product return, order cancellation, membership inquiry, support ticket creation, escalation, and account info updates. Confirm and continue to generate test cases. Test cases come in two types: static and dynamic. Static test cases follow a fixed script. Each one sends a message to the agent, gets a response, and the system evaluates it. Dynamic test cases don't use a fixed script. Instead, they describe a live scenario that plays out during the test itself. For example, you might have the agent start a return, then an exchange, then try to refund to a credit card that wasn't added before. Here are some generated test cases. Here's a test case for submitting a review after an identity check. It's a happy path for the product review use case. The persona is a multitask shopper. The first message goes to the agent, and here's what's expected in response. Then the second message and the expected response again. You'll also see the overall expectation for this test case. These expectations guide the LLM judges on the platform. They check intent recognition, entity extraction, task completion, and response relevance. Those are the metrics used to evaluate the agent's output. The system also generates behaviors, happy paths, phrasing variations, edge cases, out-of-scope questions, and adversarial scenarios. You've already seen personas and metrics like intent recognition, entity extraction, and task completion. For voice, you'll also see audio quality, language matching, tone, speech rate, and response audibility. These are the built-in metrics, but you can add more, either manually or with Copilot. Just describe the evaluation criteria you need, and whether it's LLM-based or rule-based, then provide the prompt for how to structure the evaluation, and it'll generate it for you. Copilot works for behaviors, use cases, personas, evaluation, and test cases. Just open Copilot, pick the test case type, describe it, and it'll generate it. You can also define variables for real-time injection into test cases. Variables can be plain text, secret, or dynamic, generated at runtime. You can connect your knowledge base, upload a collection, or use AWS Bedrock. More connectors are coming. Both the generation and evaluation engines use these knowledge bases. The generation engine creates test cases with them. The evaluation engine checks whether the agent's responses are grounded in your knowledge base or just made up. There's also a tools section. Here you define tools the judges use to verify your integrations or database. For example, if the agent says it created a ticket, the judges can call the API to fetch or search for that ticket and confirm it's there and correct. Here's how you run a test suite. Name your run, pick the agent to test, and optionally run a script to reset your staging environment. Then select your judges. You can pick Sonnet, Gemini, Flash, GPT 4.5, or others. Filter by behaviors, use cases or evaluation criteria, then start the run. Here's a completed run. Out of 80 test cases, 24 passed and 56 failed. Average latency was 4.5 seconds. The agent made 73 tool calls and used 450,000 tokens. You'll see reports broken down by evaluation criteria. Task completion was low, hallucination was okay. You can also view results by use case. Order status lookups did well, but product review submissions didn't. You'll see which queries took the most or least time and results one by one. For each result, you'll see the input, agent output, tool calls, token usage, and individual scores by evaluation criteria and by judge. For example, intent recognition scored 80%, groundedness was 43%, task completion was 9%, and so on. There are two report types, an executive summary for stakeholders and a detailed Excel report for developers, with deep insights into every test case and why it failed. There's more you can test. There's a full red teaming suite to test your agent against attacks like jailbreaking, prompt injection, and more. You get support for OWASP LLM Top 10, OWASP API security, and plugins for specific use cases, like e-commerce compliance, fraud detection, PCI DSS, price manipulation, and financial or trust and safety risks. There's also a load testing feature to check your agent's maximum capacity or how it handles a steady load, like 10 users every 2 minutes. That's ContextQA. It's the validation layer you can point to when someone asks, "Are we ready to go live?"